I mean, when I was working at Disney, I got up early. I swung by Starbucks or wherever, got my coffee, and I was in the office by 6:30. Nobody else was. And so they gave me time to do my email, to plan my day, look at what my schedule was going to be, who did I need to see, it gave me a good hour and a half to get my act together. At 8 o'clock, it went crazy. Everybody wants you in meetings and going all over the place. So I kind of took my day planner and planned that and thought about it. And what day I was going to work on this and that and this. And then went through the day with all the meetings and stuff. I blocked out 2 to 3 to 4 hours a couple of times a week to just go out to the parks, walk them, talk to the cast members. See, it's easy to get locked in your office and not go out your business.
We believe that you are strong by design, and you were made in God's image to have a strong body, mind, and spirit. You're listening to the #1 Strength and Health Authority podcast in the world. So let's get ready to unlock your potential and transform your life in today's episode. Well, hey, welcome to another episode of Strong by Design. I am so excited about our episode today. As you know, our goal here on Strong by Design is we want to help you live the best that you can through a healthy mind, body, and spirit. We believe that you have been created that way, and we want to give you the tools to live the best life that you can because we believe you were created to live a good life. And I have a really great guest for the show today. I'm just going to give you a little history. Maybe you can figure out who it is that we're talking to before we even mention his name. But this man has been through the thick and thin. He's lived a lot of life. He has a lot of wisdom to share with us. For a long time, he held executive positions at both the Hilton and the Marriott. And then in 1990, he became an executive vice president of operations at Walt Disney. He spent a majority of his career at Disney leading all kinds of different operations. He had 40,000 cast members. He had 20 different resorts, 4 theme parks, water parks, shopping, entertainment, all kinds of things that he was heading and leading. And now today, I love his signature. As I was emailing him back and forth, his signature is retired and inspired. And I just thought that was incredible. I love that. And we're excited to have Lee Cockerell here with us today to share with us some wisdom. Really anything that you see with the word magic on it, when it doesn't pertain to the magic as far as entertainment, when it comes to magic and Disney, Lee has had his hand in it, I believe. Is that correct, Lee? Would you say that's true?
A lot of it.
A lot of it. At least for a while, right?
Yeah, Disney's always on the move, so I'm not even sure what they're doing.
Yeah. That's fair. I was actually, as I was looking into you, Lee, and just learning more about who you are, do you know Horst Schultz? Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Have you ever met him?
Yes. I know.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I imagine it's funny. Yeah. We had him on the show like a year ago, and as I'm reading through who you are and what you stand for, I'm like, man, this sounds really familiar.
Yeah. He did a great job with Ritz Carlson. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And just his philosophy of. He has his book, Excellent Wins, and he is all about just bringing your best, but then it's about customer experience. And I know that's been a big thing for you as well throughout the history of your career, right?
It's pretty much the only thing that matters if you want their credit card.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I actually was introduced. I just met Lee today for the first time, which is exciting. But the connection that I got was through Jody Mayberry, and you and Jody actually have a podcast that you do together called Creating Disney Magic. And how can you just tell me a little bit what is the purpose of your podcast, and what are you guys trying to promote in what you're doing over there?
Yeah, we started it 9 years ago. We've done almost 500 episodes now, 15 minutes only, every Tuesday. And we kept it short because we believe that people are unlikely to listen to an hour. Everybody's busy. They can snap in on the way to work or whatever you're doing. And we talk about leadership, management, customer service. We talk about everything from raising teenagers to anxiety and depression that people go through in the pandemic. I mean, whatever is current. We're talking a lot recently about how to hire better, how to retain better, how to train better, how to be more clear with your employees when you hire them so there's no misunderstandings. Just all those kind of basic concepts that I've learned working for Hilton, Marriott, and Disney. That they were three great companies, and they taught me a lot. I knew nothing when I went to work for them, but my mother kind of told me to do that too. So I said to people always, manage like a mother in case you're
That's right.
uncertain what you want to do or should do.
Yeah, that's funny because my wife actually just started. Not just started. The last couple of years was managing at a coffee shop, and she would come home and she was really correlating being a mother and managing the house as well as managing at the coffee shop and just all the similarities that are there. And
exactly,
it's made her. I think it's helped her be a better mom at home as well as be better in the business world.
And I hope so.
Yeah.
She knows how to deal with aggravation, I guess, when
That's right.
Or the kids are not behaving.
Yeah. That was actually, I don't know if this was on your podcast or maybe an interview that I watched with you. You were talking about anxiety and how anxiety in the workplace and how that filtrates down to your kids. Could you just talk a little bit about that for our listeners? I know. So one of the things that we like to focus on with our podcast is we have faith, fitness, and family is just a really big, important piece to us. And so maybe you can share, share a little bit about your history too, and just tell me your story, your family. Who I know very little about you personally. I just know what is kind of public record and what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Oklahoma on a farm. We were very poor, kind of a dysfunctional family. My mother ended up being married 5 times, and I was adopted twice. I got my name Cockerell when I was 16 by husband number 4. And I look back and I tell people she did the best she could. She came out of a family that was about the same. Her father was crazy and alcoholic and all that kind of stuff. So she did her best, but we always had a place to sleep, and we had a dinner every night. And I do not recall any issues back then about not feeling loved or safe, but she was obviously struggling. And so when husband number 4 had money, so I got to go to college and I went to Oklahoma State, and it took me 2 years to flunk out because I didn't go to class.
That's a problem.
I didn't have a good history, I grew up in the 40s and 50s, and the teachers didn't pay much attention. They just promoted everybody. It was a farm town, you just go ahead. I tell people now, I said I've written 6 books, and I still don't know where the commons go. And I want to use a semicolon one day. So I look back on that. So I went out in the world. I joined the Army, and that gave me a lot of structure, a lot of being on time. There's a systems. There's a way to do things, and I learned a lot there. I needed that. I was young. I was immature. Met a guy. We went off to Washington, D.C. I got a job as a waiter at the Washington Hilton 2 weeks before it opened. That's where John Hinckley shot President Reagan back in 1981. And I just said, okay, I'm going to be the best waiter they've ever had. And I'd never been in a hotel, but I watched and people helped me. And 2 things I tell people: if you want to be successful, I've learned this in my life, have a good attitude and be reliable. Those 2 things will get you a long way, and people will give you a chance because you've got a great attitude. They're glad to see you, and you always do what you say you're going to do. You're on time, and you keep learning. And so I started learning, and then I got promoted. And I got a job in an accounting office as a clerk and learned that. And then I got promoted to Chicago, and then to the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and then to Los Angeles. And then from there, I joined Marriott and stayed 17 years. And we moved all over the place. My wife and I moved 11 times in my early career. Been in Orlando 30 years. So,
what were you doing for Marriott?
I started out as a restaurant manager. Then I became a regional director. I was in charge of the food and beverage operations for the East Coast Marriott. And then I became the vice president of food and beverage planning worldwide for them eventually, doing the new hotels, planning kitchens, restaurants.
Okay. Yeah.
Concepts. And in 1990, I was recruited by Disney to go to France and open the restaurants. And I did that. And then they promoted me over there to be in charge of the hotel division. And then in 93, I came back to Orlando, which I'd never lived before. And I became the executive vice president of operations, running all the parks and the hotels and everything. And I didn't know anything about the park. But what I did know, and the success of my career is being hire the experts, let them do their job, be there for them, and you don't have to do anything. You hire the people to do the expertise. So I just focused on three things: making sure we were hiring the right people, making sure we were training them so they could do their jobs, and making sure we were treating them right. And I kind of came up with this: hire them right, train them right, and treat them right, and life will be good.
That's right.
And somebody said, "Lee, what'd you do at Disney?" I said, "Not much. I just made sure everything got done."
Yeah.
And it's kind of,
which is kind of a big job with everything.
My mother just made sure we made our beds. She didn't make
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So that's how my life went. And I tell you the three things: education's important, no question. Whether you get it college or whether you have curiosity and you get it reading or going on podcasts or going to seminars, listening to tapes. That's one way. And the other is experience and exposure. I'm telling you, in my mind, experience is the MBA of life. You get experiences, you got it forever. And exposure to the world. I'd never been anywhere when I left Oklahoma. I didn't know anything. And today I've done work in 45 countries. And literally, I tell people back then I was a potential racist. I lived in a very bigoted section of Oklahoma, and everybody they were. You know, I was in the 40s and 50s.
Sure.
You know, I went in the Army before civil rights passed in '65, and so I didn't know any better. And frankly, I did not know what was going on was wrong. I didn't. You don't know if you're in an environment. Sure. You're enclosed.
You don't know until you know.
And then, of course, I go to Washington, D.C. and the Army, and the world opened up pretty big. I started saying, well, about half the stuff I was told is not true. Actually, black people are nice and good nice, and Muslims are nice, and it just changed my whole life. And because exposure does that. Somebody said, once you're enlightened, you can't go back in the dark.
Sure.
Once you know. And so that's usually what happens with all of us. You can just think back to your own life. You go somewhere and you go, whoa. I talked to a young man yesterday, said his grandfather took him to Japan and China when he graduated from high school. Said it changed his life. His vision had no idea. And that's what exposure does, whether you're getting it through travel, reading, knowing people, other people. So that's how I kind of developed. And every job I went to, I had a good attitude and just try to be 100% reliable, because so many people aren't. People come to work.
And it's interesting how, I mean, we're here trying to interview for a position right now, and someone didn't show up for the interview today. And it's like,
and if they do, they might only stay a week and quit and go somewhere else.
Right. Do you feel like, I mean, from 1990 to 2020 is, they're completely different. Do you see work ethic as having changed? Is there less work ethic today? What's your observation on that?
I think define what work ethic is. I think
reliable.
People may have the right idea that I worked 6-7 days a week and worked like a dog and wasn't home a lot. As my son was growing up, and I think they got the right idea. They're very bright, very smart. And I say, we need to quit judging people by what year they were born. Judge them as individuals. And there are people that are great. They do a great job, but they want a life, and I don't blame them. They want to have time off with their family and go to the lake and go to their children's events at school. And so I think it's fine. And I think we just have to, as I tell people, you got to learn to work with what you got. And every generation is different. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I think I heard recently.
A lot of people in my generation, people think are not very good. And every generation, when you think back about it. But boy, I know I have 3 grandkids, 28, 26, and 22, and they're great. And they're all being very successful. And they work hard, and they have a great life, and they're good people. But they're not going to be in an environment and a culture where they're not treated right, respected, included, involved. They want you. They listen to their opinion. And by the way, they probably know about 10 times more than I did when I was their age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's funny. I just think when I kind of brought that question up, I just think of people not showing up, and that's one of your things that you just said. Is,
I can't imagine that.
Just showing up.
Blows my mind. I think their parents must have failed.
Yeah. Something I don't know, but it's the same thing that you were talking about before, right? Where generations kind of pass different things down, and we don't know the background or the history of each and every individual, and I think that, as you were saying, every generation you're going to have your good apples and bad apples, right? You're not going to have, you can't just paint the brush on a whole generation. I think that's a silly thing to do.
I said, it's all we got. We better learn to work with them.
Absolutely. And so you're married. How many kids do you have?
I just have one son.
Just one son?
I've been married 55 years.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And people say, Lee, how you doing? I said, well, my wife hasn't left me and nobody's in rehab, so we're all good.
So we're doing good.
It doesn't take much to be good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The reason that I wanted to have you on the show today was because I was actually attending the podcast movement in Denver a month and a half ago or so, and Jody was a speaker, and he brought up your magic morning routine, and I was thinking that's just, it was intriguing to me, and I think when I originally heard it, I was thinking about like what you do at home before you even leave the house. So I was like, okay, you get up, take a shower, and I was thinking kind of a morning routine like that. But I went on to your website, and anybody can go onto the website at leecockerell.com. You have this free thing that you can download called the Morning Magic Planner. And is that, when you're talking about the morning magic routine, is that what you're talking about? Or you're talking about you have eggs in the morning and then you have coffee and then you get in your car? I'm guessing that's probably not what you were referring to.
No, I'm talking about getting your act together, how you're going to keep your life under control, and think about it every morning. Sit down and look at those different sections that are on that document you can download, and just to make sure you're spending enough time against the things which you believe are your responsibilities, which would be your wife and your children and your parents and grandparents and your retirement and your continued education and your business and your finances and your health, getting those checkups and keeping up with them, most people I don't think they have grasped the number of responsibilities you've got to pay attention to if you want to end up not having regrets. Having dinner with your children, taking them out on a Saturday, getting them signed up for camp, going up and seeing their teachers to see how they're doing in school so you can get them a tutor if they need it. Or it's like a lot of people just focus on their job and that's about it. And you can see the health in the U.S. is horrible because nobody pays to it. And you pay for that later. You would pay for that later. I said every day you should be focusing on the things that you need to do today, but they may not pay off for 10, 20, 30 years. Well, exercise pays off. Eating right pays off. Telling your wife you love her pays off.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Spending time with your children so they have a good relationship with you, and they'll tell you facts a lot when things are going, when they get to be teenagers and make it comfortable for them. And you and your wife are the most important people in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Most learn is coming from you two.
Yeah. There's a really good book called Famous at Home, and the whole premise of that is, people are trying to become famous and, whatever, that's Instagram or just, in the business realm or, trying to get other, and his point is basically like, you're already famous. Like you're if you think of the definition of the word famous, it's, they want to know you, they want to know about you, and that's, being able to invest into those people that already care. And I don't know why that's such a difficult thing for us to think, I mean, it's not for me, but for some people out there that to focus on family and make that a priority. It's maybe, I don't know if seems like a cultural breakdown at times of where our priorities get mixed up.
People get an insecurity. It's a competition with their friends graduating from school. What are they doing? What am I doing? They've got a nice car. I don't have as nice a one. I mean, it's just a million things. And instead of focusing on, the really only thing that matters is your family, your health. Really, at the end of the day, somebody said, what's happiness? I said, being happy and healthy. If you got those two, nobody else cares about you anyway. Maybe your mother.
Yeah.
We start thinking this, actually people care about stuff we have. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They care to a degree, but at the end of the day, if you're not there, they're probably going to be okay.
But your kids, they care about you all the time.
They care 100%.
It's like a dog. They're glad to see you come home.
Yep. If you're not there, they care.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
And they need that comforting and to feel safe, and that builds their self-confidence and self-esteem. And
did you? Yeah. In your own life, did you ever see effects of anxiety on the job being reflected in your home?
Oh, yeah. I would say I didn't have anxiety until I was much older, and my wife almost died, and I had to take care of her for 2 years when I was 65. She was in the hospital 68 days. The bill was $700,000, and our life went Saturday night. Everything was fine. Sunday morning, it started that route. But I always had anxiety in a way. I had stress. When you work for Disney or but it depends on the person, but you're going at 100 miles an hour because Disney always wants more, friendlier, cleaner, more profit, less cost. I mean, you're running. And my wife said my face relaxed the day I retired because and the problem is you don't realize it. And you definitely bring that home. And I had a routine then. I left at 5 every day. I went in at 6:30 in the morning. I left at 5. I went to the gym for an hour, worked out, and then I came home. And I was a better husband. And then I spent the weekend with my wife. I didn't go play golf or leave her alone. So you got to adjust that. So I tell people, if only I'm happy and she's not, that's not going to be good.
Yeah.
You got to really pay attention if you're going to be in a relationship.
Yeah. This is kind of a fun question for you. I don't know if you've ever gotten this one. Date night. So you can put so much pressure on the date night to where you ruin it. So if you were giving wisdom to 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're going on a date night, they want to maintain that relationship. What to you would be that ideal date night to keep the fun and spark alive, but at the same time not make it so much pressure that you end up just being stressed out on the date?
I'd say my wife and I used to travel for 10 years with Marriott. I'd leave on Monday morning, get back Friday afternoon, evening. I was dead tired. Back in those days, I wanted to have a drink of wine or something, and then I'd fall asleep on the couch. And she'd been working with our son all week and training him and doing everything. And we early on decided when I got home Friday night, we would go out. And we just, not a fancy, just a little pub near us, have a burger and drink some wine and talk about the week. That was enough. It wasn't about anything spectacular or having a cake brought out. It was just private time that we could sit and talk, and it became a routine. And, routines are good, something to look forward to. And when you have a scheduled event like that, you tend not to ignore your wife because you're going to get together. You do it. We're looking forward to it Friday night to go out. And we were home early, It wasn't like we stayed out half the night. But we were able to talk about what happened this week and how you doing, what's going on. And Monday morning started again. And I called home every night. I talked to my son every night. Kids don't care much when they get to a certain age. Mm-hmm. Whether you're there or not, like 12, 13, they got their life. Yeah. But
we're about to reach that age with our oldest, and I'm not looking forward to that phase.
Just stay focused, stay clear, be clear with him about your expectations about when he's out with his friends. he can always call you. And as we gave our grandkids all a credit card and a Uber, so they don't have to worry about getting in some car with somebody to hand the.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You just keep talking to them, TikTok. You know, even though they may be rolling their eyes at you, they hear you.
Sure. Yeah,
they hear you
for sure.
Because you know, teenagers.
Yeah. Early on in our marriage, we had young kids, and we were trying to be intentional with date night, but that's why I brought the question up, was because we built it up. Like we'd get dressed to the nines and try to we're trying to top each date. And it just got to a point where it's like, man, this is more work and more stress than it's supposed to be. So we just kind of cut all of that out, and we're like, okay, hey, we just want to spend time together, and that's what's important, you know?
Absolutely. You can take a picnic, go out in the corner of the yard. There's nobody around.
Yeah. Even if we can't get a babysitter, we'll say, hey guys, you're old enough. We're going to go take a walk around the block, you know, just to get out of the house and be with each other. So,
and you're sending the right message to your wife that you want to do that.
Right. And that she's valuable. Yeah.
And
that's good.
Yeah, you're intentional is the right word.
Yeah.
So if you don't do things on purpose, there's a good chance they fall away.
Yeah.
You got to really be thinking.
Yeah.
And
So let's dive in just a little bit to your morning routine, the magic of the morning routine, and that word intentionality. I think we can kind of roll off of that word, because the routine that you've put together is very intentional, and it's not just. I think you alluded to this already. It's not just about what you're doing at work, but it's every compartment of your life, and being intentional about these different areas that you have responsibilities for. And so maybe you could give me, give me kind of your rough summary about what it is and who it's for.
Yeah, I mean, when I was working at Disney, I got up early. I swung by Starbucks or wherever, got my coffee, and I was in the office by 6:30. Nobody else was. And so they gave me time to do my email, to plan my day, look at what my schedule was going to be, who did I need to see, it gave me a good hour and a half to get my act together. At 8 o'clock, it went crazy. Everybody wants you in meetings and going all over the place. And then
back when you first started at Disney, you needed to make sure to check your Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff too when you first got into work, right?
Yeah, I didn't have it.
No, I'm just kidding.
But your email, it was there. It took place.
Yeah.
You had a lot of correspondence and a lot of guest letters and a lot of people wanting to talk to you. And so I kind of took my day planner and planned that and thought about it. And what day I was going to work on this and that and this. And then went through the day with all the meetings and stuff. I blocked out 2 to 3 to 4 hours a couple of times a week to just go out to the parks, walk them, talk to the cast members, check the bathroom, see what's going on purpose, because it's easy to get locked in your office and not go out in your business. So that was kind of intentional. When I worked for Marriott, I ran a hotel, and I came in every morning at 6:30. I walked the whole hotel. It took me about an hour, taking notes of what needed to be painted or fixed or this or that, talking to employees. I did it again at 11 o'clock, and I did it again at 5 o'clock before I went home for the day. I saw every employee every day, and they got very comfortable with me. That routine worked. And they would give me things that they needed me to do, and I'd write them down in my planner, and then I'd go back and make sure my people were doing them, getting them done. And they thought I was the best thing that ever happened, because they saw the boss every day, and when you tell him something, he did it. He took care of it. Could be little things like, it was amazing. A bartender tell me that a sink faucet was leaking all the time. Nobody would take care of it, so I called my. So he thought I was a miracle maker. So. But that's your job, is to give your employees the resources to do their job. That's mainly your job, because you probably can't do anything yourself. I couldn't fix the faucet. And so I think that was being available, being out and about, people knowing who you are. That's really a big deal, because a lot of people are stuck in the office.
Mm-hmm. And that's the relational aspect of it, right? That you're actually working with people and they're actual other human beings. That I love that you said you wanted them to know you and be comfortable with you. I mean,
Yeah.
if you hardly see your employees, every time you come out, all of a sudden they're full of anxiety, right?
Well, they are. They don't want to see you because it's not a very good experience in the
That's
past.
right. Or
And-
it's like seeing the principal, right? You only get called to the principal's office when you did something wrong.
Exactly. It's not a good thing.
That's right.
And today I'm retired, but I still get up every morning. I make my wife's coffee. I have breakfast here at home, and I can control what I eat. Then I go to my coffee place. I spend 2, 3, 4 hours there. I have a great relationship with them. They have great Wi-Fi, clean bathrooms, nice music, food's great. Because I like to get out of my, I need a place where I'm not distracted. And at home, I always told my son, don't study in your room at college because there's a bed there. It's a distraction. Or TV. Yep. Go to a place where you're in and people are leaving you alone. You can do your work. And I knock out a lot of work every morning, and then I come back home, have lunch, my wife, or we go out to lunch. So now, of course, I don't have to go back to work in the afternoons and things like this. We're having scheduled now, but
so now you can take naps in the afternoon.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And I tell you, I go off every day, and the people there are excited to see me. We all have they're all from South America, mainly in Brazil. And they're great people, and I bring them a lot of business. I promote their business all the time because they are great. I mean, they are excellent.
Yeah. You want to promote them now?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
What is
it? What's the shop?
It's called Coffee for the Soul.
Okay.
And there's 7 of them in Orlando now.
Okay.
And they even opened one next to McDonald's headquarters in Oak Brook, Illinois. It's a Colombian lady. She's done amazing. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you'll have to pitch them to open up one in Tampa for us.
Well, they might. They're doing franchising now, and it's an amazing concept. If you got somebody over there that's in this kind of business, tell them to look into it.
Okay.
It is
Coffee for the Soul.
Coffee for the Soul. And you can go on and look at it. I mean, the food is breakfast and lunch. I've spent way too much money there.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And boy, when they make you a latte, they take their time. They grow the beans and themselves in Colombia.
They actually grow them. Okay.
They have big bags of beans, and when they open them in the morning, oh my God, I want my head in there.
Yeah. My wife, since she's become a barista, has really become a coffee snob, and so she knows all the ins and outs of it, and she doesn't like burned beans, and all of the different things that go into it, and so
there's a difference.
There is. Yep. And you don't know it. And a lot of times, she said she used to hate coffee because it always tastes burnt to her. And then she learned that that's because they're roasting their beans incorrectly. And so if you actually do it right, it's actually a very good, smooth flavor that's very enjoyable. And so she likes coffee now, but it has to be done right, or else she doesn't like it.
So. We all like to go to a place where people are looking forward to seeing us.
Yes, absolutely.
Your brain gets a different message. Oh, where have you been? I mean, they sent me emails when they haven't seen me for a few days.
Oh, that's great.
I was gone for a month in California, and oh my God, when I went back, you thought that up.
We lost him. Where's Lee?
Together we create that environment. We look forward to.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better in your life than looking forward to something. That's why it's important. Tell your kids, Saturday I'm going to take you to breakfast this place, and we're going to go do this.
Right. Yep.
Anticipation for 5 days. Exciting.
Yep. That's the beauty of hospitality too, right? I mean, that's one of the keys to any kind of those types of businesses is helping people feel that way. You walk into a shop, and that's like a mechanic. I went into to get my car fixed, and it was like, I'm sorry that I'm burdening you with this car that is broken. And it's like, you're a mechanic. That's what you're here for.
They just start running, and this is the leadership. If you got a company, and I don't care what it is, the mechanics should have had it when they were hired. Said, "Listen, here's how we do. When a person comes in, we go up to them. Here's what we. You got to teach people routine." You got to teach them, because a lot of people don't have a clue about how to interact with other people.
Yeah,
they don't have.
Well, it's the funny thing about communication. I used to work at a company where, it was like relationship enhancement program. It's like preventative care for relationships, and that people think they know how to communicate well, but we don't, and it's always, if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's because you're not listening well. But if I don't understand what you're saying, it's because you're not communicating to me well, and it's never on me. It's always on the other person, and it's like it's actually a skill that you have to work on and develop in order to become a good communicator with other people.
Well, and you've got to care. People in the world today are all mad at something. They're upset. They're freaking out. They're impatient. They say things to people which are totally inappropriate. They don't even know them. And I just look and go,
a job interview, probably.
Yeah. It's like, be nice. Let it go. Don't.
Yeah. I worked in a hotel for a couple of years. I was a bellman. And so we, learned a lot about the hospitality business. And I also worked at Walgreens in high school, behind the register. And both of those experiences taught me how to treat the other person on the other side of that. And so it's always my goal. If I go to a fast food restaurant, if we go through the grocery store, I'm always just trying to do something to break the normality of it for them, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of the register, and I know what types of people that they have to deal with. And so if I can make them laugh or just kind of break the ice with them just to help get them through the day, like, to me, that's a win every single time. It drives my wife a little crazy, although now she's starting to participate in it because she sees the joy that it brings the person on the other side, just having fun with them and saying something out of the blue that they wouldn't expect to hear, just as a way to cheer them up.
By the way, good for you. And they remember that, by the way. And, somebody said, if you can make somebody's day a little better, that just makes it feel pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of people have 1,000 problems you don't know about that they're worried about and thinking about. And especially today, anxiety is at an all-time high around the world. People are on the edge. We don't need to make it worse. We can make it better.
Yeah. And the things that, I don't know if it's like that in Orlando, but drivers here, at least in Tampa, the thing about Florida is everyone's in a hurry to get where they're going, but once they're there, they're typically okay being there for a while and happy to have conversations.
Well, in Orlando, nobody's ever been here before, so they don't know whether they're going left, right, or where.
That's true, too. Yeah. Orlando's kind of a hub of Florida, for sure, of travel and things.
Crazy.
So.
Well, it's good. Yeah.
Well, Lee, I know that you're a person of intentionality. It sounds like you're a person of healthy boundaries, of being intentional about your boundaries and intentional about, hey, how am I going to set my day up for success? And so I know that that's something that you're not holding on to. Even in retirement, you're continuing to give back and to invest in people. And I saw on your website you have your academy. And maybe you could, if someone's like, man, just listening to you today, they go, I like this guy. I want to learn from this guy. He has a lot of wisdom. How can they get connected with you through the academy?
I'd say three ways. You can listen to the podcast, Creating Disney Magic, which is free.
15 minutes every Tuesday. It's easy.
Doesn't cost you a penny.
That's right.
We have the academy, which is $400 a year, and it's a membership, and we have online calls with me every month, and there's 10 courses in there. They're amazing, including time management. We have a new document, which is $9.95 a month, $9. It's called the Main Street Leader, which is a progressive training on how to get better in your personal and business lives, and like we did at Disney. And but I want to tell you one thing your listeners might want to listen to. One thing I really come to the conclusion is two things. If you are not happy, when you get up in the day, or right now you're not happy, take the time to sit down, have a cup of coffee or whatever you like, and think about why. Exactly why. Is it financial? Is it you're worried about your kids? Is it your wife? Is it a relationship? What is it? And I tell people now, write those down, then look at it and pick one of them and make it go away. I tell some people, well, you might need a new wife, you might need a new job, a new pay, but you've got to move these things out of your life because that's where the stress comes from. And the other thing is, if you wake up in the morning and you don't feel great, do the same thing. Why? After you've been in bed 7-8 hours, you should feel good. And the reasons you don't is you eat too late, you drink too much alcohol, you go back for the third meatball, you have an emotional encounter with your wife, you are thinking about something you didn't do today you should have done. The room's not cold enough, the room's not dark enough. I don't know, but the reason, and I can guarantee you, I got focused on that. I sleep every night 7 hours. When I don't, I sit in the morning and think, why? And I think, oh, yeah, we ate at 7:30 last night. I like to eat earlier because you go to bed with a full stomach. I quit drinking alcohol because I finally had to admit that while it was temporarily fun, it was disrupting my sleep, which disrupted my personality and my energy level. I tell people I quit 7 times. Now I'm over it. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Sugar out of my diet. It's hard, but it's worth it. And all I tell people, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. It's worth it. Mm-hmm. And I said, exercise, diet, and sleep. I'm not sure they make you live longer, but at least you'll feel good while you're alive.
Right. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And hopefully you'll live longer too, for your family, not for you.
For sure.
Your kid. Mm-hmm. So your kid, you want to meet your grandkids. Mm-hmm. My granddaughter just got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
My niece just got married.
So you got to stay healthy for the others.
Yeah.
And you got to, as my wife said, take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. And I think a lot of people are not, it's obvious as you meet people, see people, they don't know what to do, but they would if they would sit and think, why am I not happy? And they know, you can figure it out. The problem is, will you do anything about it?
Right. Yeah. My wife and I will sit down and periodically write things down and just stick it on our wall. And even though it's on our wall and it's easy for us to read all the time, we forget about it. But just having that conversation with each other, we'll go back 2-3 years later and see all the things that have come off of that list just because we took the time to have the conversation.
If you can keep doing that, your life will get better. And if you don't, your life will get worse. When you don't deal with the hard things, life gets worse.
Yeah.
So I learned to think about that because we are in control. We are the cure for our problems.
Before we wrap up, I have a couple more questions for you. Number one is, out of all the countries that you've been to, do you have a favorite and why?
Well, we love living in France because we ended up with a French daughter-in-law.
Okay, well, there you go.
We're in love, and we have three grandkids that are half French, half American. We love to go.
My wife was just in France, and she said that she loved it. She loved France.
And it's a whole different life. And I tell people, if you ever have a chance to live internationally, do it. It'll change you forever. Yep. You'll never be the same person again. Yep. Now, is France easy? No, the stores are not open at the right time and all. But overall, it was great. Because every day I learned something. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Why did you do this? Why that? How do you do that?
Yeah. Just culturally.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. So, I would say France changed our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my other question is, these are just kind of fun, random questions that I thought of as we were talking. When you look at your time at Disney, is there one thing that you can that has your fingerprint on it that you're most proud of?
Yeah, well, I got there in 93, and I was not happy with the leadership. We were good managers. We knew how to make money, but we weren't inspiring the people. We weren't focusing on finding good people and developing them. And it was leadership meant 2 or 3 people tell everybody what to do. And those days were over, and I wrote a document called Disney Great Leader Strategies. It took me about a year, and then I implemented it across the property. So everybody would be on the same page of what it looked like, how we treat people, how we're available for people, how we give feedback, how we tell people the truth. Claire, and I'll send you a copy if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Send it to me.
There's 10 strategies in there, and the first one's about people.
Yeah.
And even in my book, it's remember everybody's important. If you can get that right, your life will go just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's important, and you don't know what they're going through.
Right. And if you think you're the most important, it's probably not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mother said, when you become a big deal, don't.
That's right. That's right. It's time to set back a little bit.
Yeah. So those are things that, I hit hard on making sure we all understood what we were supposed to be doing, which is probably the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I didn't know anything about the parks, but I had people who did. And
that's perfect.
Yeah. So
and you had that relational piece where you're interested in people. And I think that no matter where you are, no matter where you go, if you're investing in the people that you're leading, you're going to be able to figure that stuff out. So,
yeah, if you're nice to people and treat them well and teach them something, they like you.
That's right. That's right.
And they actually do a better job for you.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, we all want to know that our lives have purpose and value, right? Yep, that's good. Well, thank you so much, Lee, for taking the time to chat with me. It's been fun, just learning about you and learning about what you do and continue to do. I'm excited. Hopefully, people who are listening will look into, again, just go to leecockerell.com. You can look at the Academy, several books out there that you've written, look for the word magic on it. That's kind of what I came to, the conclusion, as long as it's not like circus magic and things like that, if it's related to Disney, Lee's name is going to be close by, but,
I'm waiting for Disney to discipline me for using all that fun thing.
All the magic stuff. Yeah. Well, I won't pass that along to them though. We'll have code words or something, but no, so good. Appreciate you. And, we will link, all of the stuff to Lee down, in the comments below. So if you want easy access to that, go check out Lee, check out the Academy, check out his books, go get that free resource from his website on how to have that magic morning routine. And again, thank you, Lee, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Strong by Design podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe so that more people can find out about our show. Plus, you don't want to miss any future episodes with the amazing guests and topics we have lined up for you.